Yo, what's good? It's your boy Derek Branch here, SportsView360.com, covering the New Orleans Saints. And today we're going to break down a few of the Saints' regular season games and provide a early analysis before we really dive into those games that when they actually occur, which will be 2 months from now for the regular season. And I'm not going to provide early breakdowns for all of the games, but at least the first 4 or 5 games of the season. We're only a few days away from the start of training camp. I just wanted to provide some content just to give you an overview of these teams that the Saints will be facing as we get ready for the 2025 regular season. And we're gonna start things off with the Arizona Cardinals, a team that was looking like they were going to, turn the corner. Finally turned the corner under Kyler Murray. They've only made the playoffs once, and that was with a previous head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who is now the offensive coordinator with the Washington Commanders. But if you look at the Cardinals schedule from last season and how things played out, they started off against the Buffalo Bills, had a close game with the Bills, fell short 34-28. Then they turn around at home, blow up the Rams 41-10. Have a close one against the Lions 20-13. Stay at home, remain at home again. Face the Commanders, get blown out by the Commanders 42-14. Then go on the road to shock the 49ers 24-23. Then get blown out again against the Packers 34-13. And then it was looking like they was starting to turn the corner, right? You beat the Chargers by 2 points, beat the Dolphins by 1 point, beat the Bears pretty bad, blow out the Jets. Then you lose to the Seahawks. Then you lose to the Vikings. And then once again, the season started. The season spiraled out of control, and they end up with a third place finish in the NFC West. Seattle was 10-7 in front of them, followed up by the LA Rams, who won the division. But it was looking like at one point in the season last year, toward the middle portion of the season, it was looking like the Arizona Cardinals were on their way to winning the NFC West. But then they just couldn't hold their lead, and that's kind of been a common theme with the Arizona Cardinals, with Kyler Murray as their starting quarterback. They start off real slow, then they catch some steam during the middle portion of the season, and then when you think they're on the verge of turning things around and possibly contend for a playoff berth, they lose. They lose a game they shouldn't, and this is what happened this past season. So there's going to be some high expectations for the Cardinals. I'm pretty sure that if you look at not all of them, but most of the NFL hot seat candidates for head coach candidates for 2025, I'm pretty sure they're going to have Jonathan Gannon's name on it. You know, he's going to his third year, and they provided a lot for him. The team has went out and did a lot to improve themselves. So his name is going to be on that list, Jonathan Gannon. Now, we look at the offseason grade for the Cardinals, the offseason moves. This information right here, courtesy of Pro Football and Sports Network. They gave the Cardinals a B plus for their offseason moves. They signed Josh Sweat, who was I think, one of the top ratings on the list, coming off of a Super Bowl victory, 8.5 sacks. Got Jacoby Brissett as their backup. Bringing back Calais Campbell was another strong presence in the locker room. Dalvin Tomlinson was a big name. Re-signed L.J. Collier. Re-signed Kelvin Beachum. Re-signed Baron Browning. Drafted Will Johnson, who the cornerback, a lot of people thought was a top 5, top 10 pick but he failed in the draft due to an injury. The first round selection, the actual first round selection, is Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. I also pick up Jordy Burch and Cody Simon out of, I think Cody Simon comes out of Oklahoma. But the departures, they've lost Kazir White and Will Hernandez, who was a pending free agent. So, like I said in the beginning, 2024 was a tale of two sides of the ball for the Arizona Cardinals. On one hand, they filled an elite offensive unit. They ranked fifth in Pro Football and Sports Network's offense plus matrix. On the other side, they finished 27th in defense plus metric. So this is where a lot of their moves were made to address the defensive side of the football. You know, they like I said, they signed, brought back Calais Campbell, signed Josh Sweat, drafted Walter Nolan in the first round, drafted Will Johnson in the later rounds. So that's where a lot of their resources went through the draft and free agency, especially on the defensive line, especially on the defensive line. Now, something I want to point out though, towards the end of this write up, right? According to Pro Football and Sports Network, the biggest area of need for the offense was for the Arizona offense was the interior of the offensive line, as the unit is solid at the tackle positions. Arizona has been quiet on that front this off season, leaving some questions heading into the new season. So, but other than that, the Cardinals significantly improved their defense, putting themselves in position to improve on their 8-9 record. So, yeah, like I was saying, maybe this could be an area where the Saints can attack them at, but we'll see on that offensive line, the interior of the offensive line. It'd be interesting to see how they address that situation. But in regards to what's at stake in this game, this is, I think, to me, in my opinion, I think this is, even though it's the first game of the season for both teams. As for the Saints, it gives them, you know, a nice barometer to see where they've improved at. Because I've said this in the past, this team, the Arizona Cardinals, who they're facing, they have a couple of attributes that this team has struggled with in the past. Number one, a running quarterback. Got Kyler Murray. The Saints have struggled with. Um, they've struggled with really good running quarterbacks in the past under a previous regime in Dennis Allen, and also the Saints struggle with defending tight ends, and the Cardinals have a really good tight end that they just paid um this past off season, Trey McBride, who really stepped up this past season. You know, he had 111 receptions for 1,146 yards and two touchdowns. So, straight off the bat, that's two areas where the Saints struggle with: tight ends, really good tight ends, and mobile QBs. That's going to be what the Saints going to need to concentrate at in this game. And also, Cardinals are not too bad at running the football. You know, they got still got their running back James Conner, veteran player, still a really good tailback, and he is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at. Really good player for the Arizona Cardinals. Um, It'd be interesting to see what they do. And he's coming off a 1,000 yard season. A year where he had 1,094 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry average, 236 carries last season, ranked 14, ranked 11 in rushing. So he had a solid season, you know. So those three elements right there, straight off the bat, could give the Saints some problems, you know. Um, So that's because I'm going to be really concerned, really focusing on where that defense is at in that first game. Where that defense at, even though I know it's early, it's the first game of the year, but this team, the Cardinals, present a lot of firepower, especially on the defensive side, especially with the names they brought in: Josh Sweat, uh, Calais Campbell, Delvin Tomlinson, Baron Browning, and even man, Will Johnson might be a steal if he's healthy, if he can stay healthy. Got him in the later rounds of the draft. I believe he was a second round pick, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, so I think this is a nice test for the Saints. A nice test for the Saints. But it is also the first of a brutal full game slate, in my opinion. The first of a brutal full game slate. Because you play the Cardinals first, then you take on the 49ers, then you take on the Seattle Seahawks. So right off the bat, you play against three NFC West teams. You play against you have a 3 game slate against um probably the probably one or two. They're probably ranked in the top 10, the top five in regards to best divisions in football, the NFC West. Then you close that out with that 4 game stretch out, Bob, going up against the Buffalo Bills, a team that a lot of people are expecting to be in the Super Bowl this season, this upcoming season. But we'll see. So to me, I think this is a really good test for the Saints. First game of the season. To see where you at. To see if this team has have moved on from those dirty habits that they had under Dennis Allen, where they struggle to tackle, quitting games, anemic offense, players, not being focused, making mistakes. Straight off the bat, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out where this team is at in the first game, even though I know it's early. So we just gotta wait and see how it's all gonna play out, man. But this is the first of possibly a full game video series where I break down, provide early breakdowns on the Saints' first 4 or 5 opponents of the season, and the first one on the slate is the Arizona Cardinals. So that's all I have for y'all for right now. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, 5-star rating on the podcast. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.